channel. Of course, you know, my name is Just a Fun Guy, and this is Just a Fun Guy Coins. Today's video is actually an idea that I am taking from a YouTube coin channel called Treasure Town. And a huge shout out to them for giving me this idea. And what their video was all about was showing you error varieties of certain coins and how valuable they can be. Well, I have an idea I'm going to do, but it's similar but not the same, of showing you a bunch of coins that do have errors on them in the values, but in a different way. I'm going to make this into another full-fledged series. I did the series of the complete history of the penny through the dollar coin. Today, I'm starting with the penny and going to end with the dollar coin on errors. There are definitely going to be more errors and varieties in one coin than another, so today, I am going to start off with the penny. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and without further ado, let's get to the pennies. Penny. In 1922, 7 million pennies were minted, and all of the pennies were minted in Denver, therefore they should all have a D mint mark underneath the number, or the year. However, not all 1922 pennies have a D mint mark. In fact, a small number of 1922 cents have a weakness with the D mint mark. And even a fewer number of wheat cents show virtually no trace of the D mint mark whatsoever. A 1922 penny without a D mint mark is called a plain cent or a plain penny. Values for the 1922 plain penny start at around $650, even at the lowest circulated grades. Other 1922 penny values start at about $15 for versions with the mint mark that is clearly visible. While the 1922 penny with the D mint mark is generally considered a semi-key coin compared to the 1922 plain penny, it's relatively common. Because the 1922 plain penny is so rare, relatively few coin collectors will be able to have an example in their collections. Next up, the 1943 copper penny. 1943 saw the year of the steel cent, but there are some 1943 copper pennies out there. They're pricey. Base price for one of these is $85,000, and the 1943 D copper penny sold for a whopping $1.7 million at auction. How did this come about? It's actually one of the most valuable mistakes the United States Mint ever made. The copper 43 penny is a type of error coin that was born with a couple dozen or so. The bronze 1942 penny planchets were mistakenly left in the hoppers at the Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and San Francisco Mint. These bronze planchets were fed through the machines without notice, and they struck with the 1943 penny dies, thus creating the rare and valuable 1943 copper penny. Next up, the 1944 steel penny. The 1944 steel penny is another very valuable error, and the 1944 copper penny is actually one of the most common wheat cents. More than 2.1 billion pennies in 1944 were struck at all three mints combined, and virtually all these 1 cent pieces were made from copper. Wheat pennies from the 1940s, most other wheat cents, were traditionally struck within a copper, 95% copper, 5% tin, and zinc. Those made from 1944 to 1946 were on planchets consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Why does this matter? Because the copper used in 44 to 46 pennies were made from recovered ammunition shells used in World War II. In 1943, the Lincoln penny was made from a zinc-coated steel composition to help save copper for World War II ammunitions. However, most people mistook the 43 steel penny for a dime, and others complained about the steel becoming rusty. Responding to the public outcry during a time of rations, officials in the U.S. government decided to return to using copper with the penny beginning in 1944, choosing to derive the copper from spent shell casings. Next up is the 1955 double die. And you'll see in that picture what I have in front of my narration, you have the poor man's double die, and then the actual 1955 double die. And it's always good to get the poor man double die because that would bring you a good solid buck. But the actual double die itself is worth over 1,000. A double die coin is one of the most popular types of era coin varieties. The 1955 double die penny was even mentioned in a Stephen King novella called The Good Marriage, and it was a plot device in a 1989 Weird Al Yankovic movie called UHF. It's important to remember that double die coins aren't struck twice, rather the die is stamping the design onto blank coins that bears a double image. The double design was imported on the die during the hubbing process. That's when the device is used to strike the blank coins are created. This is a good opportunity to also bring up the poor man's double die. These aren't real 1955 double dies, but rather coins exhibit doubling or ghosting of the design due to deterioration. The 1955 Poor Man's Double Die might be a great album hole filler for the cash-strapped desperate coin collector who can't afford an actual 1955, but it's not the 1955. Either way, they're worth a little more than a cent. Lastly, there is the 1974 aluminum or silver penny. Well, 99% of 1974 pennies were made from a copper-based alloy. There were more than 1 million 1974 aluminum pennies struck as trials. And did you actually know it's illegal to own a 1974 aluminum penny? Let's talk about the 1974 so-called silver penny. You probably heard about the 1974 silver pennies from your family, friends, or other coin collectors. Some people use the term silver penny rather fancifully. Perhaps suggested mint officials purposefully made rare silver pennies. Well, these are some off-metal era coins involving silver dime planchets that found their way into the Lincoln cent presses. There were no 1974 silver pennies ever intentionally made by the U.S. Mint. Rather, Mint struck aluminum cents as test coins. Why didn't the Mint bother making 1974 aluminum pennies? They were designed to help reduce the cost of copper striking pennies due to the rising cost of copper in the early 70s. The copper had risen from a price of 50 cents per pound to 1 cent. That meant that the melt value in a typical Lincoln penny was not worth nearly as much as the face value. Actually, there's a misconception that it's illegal to melt coins. You can melt coins. The illegal part is you melt them and then try to sell their metal contents. But if you're melting the coins to make a sword out of them, that's perfectly legal. Well, those were some pennies that do contain some errors. And a lot of those pennies are worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And those were just a few of the many that I came across. I would ask if you'd want a part 2, but I'm not going to do a part 2 to the pennies. I'm going to move on and do nickels next time because it's my new series. I'm not sure what to call it, but it's all about the era coins. So with that being said, my name is Just a Fun Guy. This is Just a Fun Guy Coins. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit that bell icon. And until next time, my name is Just a Fun Guy. I'm signing off. So long, YouTube.